a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anybody on Zoom? No, okay. Public comment. Any public comment? Excellent. Zipping right along. Number 4, agenda item number 4, Captain's Walk at Rock Harbor. Nate Sears, you here to talk about that, please?
I am.
Great.
It occurred to me through all the renovations and revitalization that we've done at the harbor that it's imperative more than ever to try to capture some of the history down there. While some of it is just oral history, it's right at our fingertips, and I'd like to gather folks that have historical information and stories related to Rock Harbor, and kind of incorporate that into some informational signage down at the harbor. And kind of what I envisioned would be some type of captain's walk along the sidewalk there. Starting off with the public viewing area, I kind of envision having a sign there talking about the history of cohogging out of Rock Harbor, maybe with a 100-year, probably 1800s picture. They're out there. H.K. Cummings has some of someone with one of the extremely long bull rakes when they were fishing out of catboats, and kind of reference the fact that this has been a working quahog fishery, and nothing really has changed all that much at Rock Harbor.
Steamers, too. I remember I see hogshead barrels, photos of hogshead barrels full of steamers,
Right, and I get that, but that can be said about a lot of different places. But the one thing that hasn't changed, it's been the standard at Rock Harbor, has been the fact that we're still going after quahogs there, and I think that we take for granted, or that we just kind of underplay the fact that we and a lot of people down there, the more time I've spent down at Rock Harbor, understand and acknowledge that history, but the average visitor would really appreciate hearing some of that history. So starting there with something history about the quahog fishery, and then going along the sidewalk out towards the bay would be just continuing signage about some of the captains that have fished out of there. I don't know exactly what it looks like. Maybe there's a sign about the target ship, or the clam trees, but I'd like to kind of get people start thinking about this, and then network with people that might have some old pictures, some old stories, and start gathering that stuff together. I'm working with Amanda Converse, who sent some information over to me as well, because I kind of reached out to Town Hall to see if we could get their support. And she said she's looking forward to working with us on the placemaking initiative at Rock Harbor, building the recently completed bulkhead reconstruction. This is part of a broader effort already underway, including the town's wayfinding signage initiative, to thoughtfully invest in Rock Harbor's public spaces in ways that reflect its history and its working waterfront, including the commercial fishing fleet. This is the early stage, but the committee's perspective and experience with Rock Harbor will be essential as it takes shape. The town's manager's office and the Natural Resource Division will be looking to engage with the members of the Shellfish Waterways Committee directly, given the knowledge of and the connection to Rock Harbor. My guess would be, everyone's going to have their kind of thought or their priority of what a sign should look like, but we might put together a working group where we kind of gather all this information, and then we sit down and decide on X amount of signs that we can put down at the harbor. But I think that it's imperative that we work with people that have connections to the harbor, and people that have connections with the folks that may have this history. So I want to get it right. I don't want this to just be some hokey thing. And this is the first time we're going to talk about it, but I want you to leave this meeting kind of thinking about who you might know, and I think we all know similar people that have this information. As I've even started to talk about this, people have started delivering to me some historical books and photographs But even if we can get them on loan, or even if some of you want to consider penning some narratives down of stories of a captain, even if it's just a funny story of a captain that fished out of there, that you think that the public visiting Rock Harbor would find interesting, and start bringing it my way, and then we can start talking about who would want to be on the working group, and we can organize.
Any comments?
I have one person in mind that is still with us and still has a good memory of
Really?
Rock Harbor, is Bobby Doon.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Charlie Miller.
Well, Bobby Doon is a little bit more advanced than Charlie Miller's good too. But
Yeah.
Charlie, like myself, started in the 60s. Charlie was ahead of me when he was in, late 40s, early 50s.
Right. Huh. How's Bob, okay?
I ask his son quite often how he's doing, and he says he's doing well, but he doesn't get around too much. But I'm quite certain I could approach him and get somewhat of a interview.
Sure.
But he goes back to
Yeah.
the old Catherine and the Richardsons and all the founders of
Yeah.
Rock Harbor and the cohogging, scalloping.
Did you have a chance to talk to, did you have a chance to talk to Fran Higgins?
I haven't yet, no.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have the book sitting on my
Yeah.
desk.
Because the book's awesome.
Book's great.
I really want to go through it, so.
And she's already done a lot of the work for us, so, that's kind of just the network. If somebody knows Fran or has contact with her, just kind of planting this idea with her, and, maybe just a simple contact, just as easy as that person who's already written an entire book about it, can really open doors for us if we were able to, if she was willing to let us share excerpts from the book, that type of stuff.
I think if you knocked on the door, she'd be just,
Yeah.
hey,
Well, I need your help, is what I'm saying, right? So everybody's help, if you think this is a good idea.
oh, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Kirsten, you had a comment?
Just that, there's a lot of books on the really, the 1800s and the 1900s. And is there going to be any effort to document and journal or whatever it is, write about the current generation of
Oh, yeah.
kids that are out there doing it now? Because I almost wonder if that's going to be like a lost chapter in our history, because there's not so many people writing books or reading books. Everything's so much on social media that I think a lot of the history is going to be taken for granted through
The
social
book
networks.
we're talking about, that's written by a woman, Fran Higgins.
Okay.
She has, how far back does it go?
It goes, Christopher Prino's in the book. I mean,
I know, I understand.
Oh, okay.
I know it's modern,
So it's
but,
got some modern history.
yeah. So that alone is a good context, and maybe we can get some information from her, which would be awesome.
Well, and I think of, I have a lot of really cool photos of the current, the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's real stunning photos. But, I think, is that going to be lost to history or not?
It's today's history.
Yeah.
It's,
And what I appreciate about what's going on, and one of the reasons why I thought this would be useful, is that it's also happening in real time. We're not talking about something that is, is a long forgotten art.
Right.
We just renovated and revitalized the harbor for people doing exactly the same thing. So
watch them unload 35 bags. There they go. That's 35 totes. That's, crazy. That's it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, shit. Sorry. I lost it.
That generation, there isn't many left.
I know that. Trying to think who. Hey, Bobby. Who else?
I'm one of the newer ones here.
Yeah, no,
I mean, really.
Yeah. How long you been doing it?
5 years with that now, I think? 4 or 5?
How often do you go? Estimate.
Say half a dozen times a month.
Okay.
I have the other stuff going on, but
Okay. So.
1 year I did 100 days.
Okay. So I'd say 100 or less. Okay. That's good. That's a lot.
Another person that might be of interest for, it might be photos and history would be Jeff Richardson. He just came back to the harbor as a Quahogger,
Name of his boat? That's great.
and he's, he's got the background.
Jeff Norjo, too.
Dad,
Jeff Norjo, too. Jeff has access to all photos. How about, now, Noel Bile passed away, correct? You know that?
I don't know.
Anybody know? I think he passed away. I'd be interested to know who got the info, who got his collection, because he had, like, the biggest collection of historical Cape Cod photos and postcards that I know. I mean, Cape Cod 5 was using his photos for forever on their calendars. So, I'll see if I can find out who's got his stuff, because that would be a really huge, I'm sure there's tons of photos from the harbor and from just the working front, the working waterfront. I bet you Norris will get some stuff. Yeah, sure.
While we're going on this thing, now with these modern posters, they can put these QR codes and stuff, and I don't know if you want to take it as far, if there's going to be a ton of information to compile it onto a website so that people can further, and people can keep adding to the history, to the local seafaring, harvesting history of Orleans. That might be, because it sounds like you guys are going to get a ton of information. How do you narrow it down just to the walkway? And you might have a surplus, so you might want to think about adding a little file on a
Maybe
web page,
Create a website that you can put the info on from
or a
there.
link off the town,
Yeah.
thing. And that way you can put all the extra surplus information. And that might be nice for going forward in a modern way.
Good idea.
Thanks.
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 Craig, the other side of the Richardson family would be Dana.
Yep. Now, is he still around?
Yeah, he's down at Wellfleet, but
Oh, yes,
I
okay.
don't think he's up this way at all, isn't
Did
he?
he move to Wellfleet?
Pardon
Did he
me?
move to Wellfleet?
I'm not 100% positive. But maybe Nate, I don't know.
Well, get the wheels turning with you guys, right? So let's start there, and then we'll try to formalize how we're gonna actually capture this and kind of narrow it down. But start the conversations with people that you think of, and even if you give me their contact information, so that when we do decide on a working group, we can start making phone calls if you're not able to reach out to those people yourself beforehand.
How long have there been sport fishing charter boats there? Since the 40s, 50s? I see photos from Willie. I see photos from Willie Case. They got to be the 50s, early 60s.
Roy Richardson and Dana were the team, but he must have been back in the 30s or the late 30s, early 40s.
Fishing, rod and reel fishing.
Mm.
Okay, huh? Okay, because that's huge too. I mean, wasn't Rock Harbor Fleet one of the biggest fleet in New England at one point? That's what they advertised as.
Mm.
So that's pretty significant.
There's a book that I think I gave it to Bill Ammer. As a matter of fact, I think Bill has it, that had the history. It was focused on East Ham Orleans in like the 30s, 40s, through that, and a lot of it was Rock Harbor to Pleasant Bay and how they would wait for the day and go, and we'll reach out to Bill and see if he still has that.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill's another one, because he's,
Yep.
he's so articulate that we might be able to recruit him for helping us kind of put the language together for this,
Sure.
to support the pictures.
All right. Anything else? Anything else? Thanks. I think it's a worthwhile project for sure.
Yep, I'll need your help.
Sure. Item 5, I was hoping John would be here, John Quigley. He was trying to get us an update with the fertilizer bylaws, not here. I will ask him to write it down and send it to the group. He did spearhead the move to get the committee informed of the fact that the town does have a fertilizer usage bylaw, and apparently nobody follows it and nobody enforces it. So
Nobody talks about it.
nobody talks about it, and when you do, you kind of get like shut down. So John was talking about it, and he got some headway with the selectmen to some select board, sorry, to some extent, but it kind of fell by the wayside. So he was going to meet with us tonight, but he can't make it. So I'll ask him if he can reach out and send a letter to the group, to the committee.
was just saying
Dave
if any
Slack?
of them were on the Zoom call.
Yeah, Dave Slack,
Sorry.
Walter North, okay, great. Okay, item number 6, 72 Tonsett update. So I wrote a letter, an email to the select board. Excuse me. And I did not share it with you, but I was asked to present it to the select board. I did, and I haven't heard anything back. And this was, I sent it on Sunday, March 8th, 2026, 7:23 PM. So I sent an email to, I sent it to Molly Bates. She forwarded it to Mark Matheson and Kevin Galligan. Excuse me. We had heard through the grapevine that there was going to be some kind of task force set up to figure out what's best to do. You understand 72 Tonsett Road, right? The house that was, okay, purchased. So we felt as though we had a lot of influence in actually the purchase of the property. And okay, at town meeting, we had 4 or 5, Phil, do you remember? 5 members get up and talked about the purchase and how good it would be for Scott, did you talk about it? Phil talked about it, Nate, you talked about it, I think Bill did too. We felt that we had a pretty good influence over the committee, over the town meeting to actually get the vote in favor to purchase the property, so we feel as though maybe we should have some say. So, my letter was, good day, Orleans Select Board. I've heard through the grapevine that a task force might be assembled to determine the best use for the property at 72 Tonsett Road. I'm writing in hopes that at least one of, if not 2 of my fellow committee members be selected to sit on that panel. All of our members are committed to what is best for our town, especially where waterways are concerned. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Craig Pusikian, Chair, Orleans, blah, blah, blah. Haven't heard back. I've seen Mark a number of times. I don't see Kevin at all, but I see it. I saw Matt. I see select board members. I've heard nothing. So I'm not sure where that stands, but do we want to pursue it? I guess I'm going to ask the committee. Do we want to pursue it any further and say, what's going on? Because we are concerned.
Wasn't there something that the town was putting together, I don't want to say it's a working group, but,
Well, that's what I heard. That's basically what I was,
yeah.
it's a sort of,
Could you just resend that same email,
I can send it. I can send it over and over again. Don't know.
ring in the bell, and
Have you heard anything at all?
I haven't.
Okay.
I mean, I don't, is a letter more productive than an email?
It was sent to our representative, Mark, and Kevin Galligan was the head of the select board at the time, so I think that's pretty significant. At least they, our rep saw it, and hopefully he saw it. I'm looking for advice. How would you like to pursue this? And if so, what would you like to do? Want to meet with them? Have 2 representatives, representatives talk to the select board in person? I'll do it, I don't care.
just to
I'm like,
say,
sure.
just to say, hey, we're trying to get your attention.
Did
Don't leave
you
us out on this.
Did you see the email? Are you concerned? We're concerned. What's going on with 72 Tonsett? Because there's talk about like housing people there.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the impetus to buy the property was to have more access to the water, or at least some future access to the water. Whether it happened today or 10 years from now, there's some talk about actually selling the property. It's like, oh, let's make some money. It's like, wait a minute, that wasn't,
It was a great deal for the town to have more access.
Sure. It's also a great deal for the town to make, $500,000 out of it. I don't know, who knows? I don't know if the town got a deal on the purchase. I forget how much they actually paid for it, but I'm sure it was over $1 million. But what's it worth now? I don't know. It's going to take quite an engineering feat to make a landing there. You're dealing with a lot of different, top of bank, bottom of bank, wetland, you got all sorts of stuff, so.
Well, it depends on what you consider a landing. I mean,
Right.
you know.
There's already a pathway to the water.
Right.
There's an open pathway to the water. Could that be an elevated,
Well, I mean, this is the whole part of a working group,
right,
to run the scenarios, look at the topography, look at the lay of the land,
right.
come up with alternatives, and then choose the direction, cost. But then, in terms of budgeting, have a number.
Yeah.
So you have a number. If we were to do this, if we were to remove the house and,
Sure.
what would it cost, and then that's something that you put out in front of the taxpayers.
Right.
We moving forward with this or not?
And supposedly there was something happening, whether it happens or not, we don't know. As it is, the house needs to be removed. The house sits parallel to the water, so it's not, I thought it was perpendicular, but seeing as it takes up most of the lot frontage, it's gotta go, you know? It's a nice little house, I'll live there, but, you know, it's like, it's nice. But, I don't know, so, would you like me to pursue further?
Yeah, 'cause
Email?
If I remember correctly on that vote, that the town was not gonna do anything with that property after purchasing it. It was gonna go back up for sale.
How soon after that, after the vote? Did you hear
That
that?
was discussion during the vote.
Oh, I forgot that.
Right.
Really?
No, they were giving the town an opportunity before they went to the market.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, if the town didn't buy it, it was going,
No, if the town bought it, they were gonna do something with the property, otherwise it was going back up for sale.
yes, okay, yeah, okay. Something, anything with the property, some kind of, was there any
Right now,
specific?
all we've got's a kayak rack down there.
Right, right. It was 8 spots and 8 racks. That's not-
12 spots.
Okay. All right, so, I would be more than happy to resend the email, consent a formal letter, I don't care, I can meet with the select board, I don't really care. Love to have somebody come with me if anyone's interested, so, Scott?
The right time, I'll go.
Huh?
The right time, I'll go with you.
Okay, yeah, all right.
You know,
I'll request the meeting.
and you'll have to send that to Meth, since he's the new chair.
Yes. And I think Mark is still our liaison, but yeah. I just saw him the other day. I'll give him a call, all right? All right, thanks. Number 7, so this is something I added. So commercial striped bass, it started a couple weeks ago. This is the 3rd week, it's open, I think, 3rd week. DMF is pulling some really hanky stuff. If you don't know, they're trying to reduce the number of commercial endorsements from 4,500 to 500 total for the state. That includes non-resident permits. The reason for it is because starting in 2029, fishermen are going to be required to tag all their fish before going to market. Right now, the markets do it. If I remember correctly, the markets complained that they were having a hard time doing it, so the DMS said, well, let's have the fishermen do it. So it's not that simple, but that's basically the gist of it. Over the winter, they were debating, and I'm pretty sure they created a, what's the cutoff date?
Quota?
Control date, thank you. The control date was 2022. So between 2022 and 2025, they needed a number of amount of fish caught per year, any of those years, any of those 3 years, 22, those 4 years. So I'm on the striped bass commercial, what's it called? The
Advisory.
Commercial Striped Bass Advisory Panel for DMF. And we met last week and a half ago, and they were floating numbers, either 300 pounds, 600 pounds, or 900 pounds. They figured 600 was the most reasonable. So right away, even before they came up with the pounds, they eliminated 500 endorsements because at least those endorsements didn't fall within the control date. So 500. So now it went from 4,500 to 4,000. Now they have to reduce 3,500 more permits so that DMF can manage 500 fishermen to give them tags so that they can manage their own fishery, which is just stupid as far as I'm concerned. It's ridiculous. I think there's some really hanky stuff going on, and I don't want to make any accusations without knowing for sure, but I know the players, and I don't really trust them all that much, and I think most of us kind of feel the same way, but I won't speak for anybody. So So basically, 3,500 fishermen are going to be losing their endorsement. I'll probably be one of them because I had no landings. I didn't have enough landings between 2022 and 2025. Go back to 2020, I had plenty of landings, but that doesn't matter. They don't care. I have a feeling there's going to be some lawsuits. I don't really know for sure, but I wouldn't put it past people. It's not really a commercial fishery when you look at a 15 to 17, 18-day season, but it's what it is, and people take advantage of it, and people love it. It's a great way to go out in the water, great way to make some money, and catch your fish. But the licenses are misused. A lot of people don't use them to sell. They just go out and they catch a bunch of big fish and become a hero and feed the neighborhood. You're like, look at me, 80-pound fish. That's really great, but they're not really using it for what it could be used for. So recently, DMF decided that you can sell your fluke and sea bass permits, which is pretty cool because for years you just couldn't acquire one. Now for 20 grand you can buy a Massachusetts fluke or sea bass permit. That won't happen with striped bass. With the fluke and sea bass, they're retaining the same number of permits, but they're just distributing them out. So before, the permit would just be thrown away. Now they want those permits out there, so they're letting people buy them. With the bass, they're trying to eliminate 4,000 permits altogether. So those permits will not be available to purchase for anybody for anything. And then they're trying to figure out a way to get people back into the fishery by having by allowing some kind of like a tier system. So if you want to apply for a striped bass endorsement in the future, there'll be like a 4-tier system to depending on how you fall into one of those 4 categories, you can apply, and you can always apply, but you may or may not be granted a permit. It's kind of a mess right now, and people were kind of taken back at the meeting, but the guys that are out there hot and heavy every single day they're like, yeah, make it 1,000 pounds, make it 2,000 pounds. They're in favor of it. A lot of people aren't. And everybody I'm talking to is like, what do you mean? They haven't even heard about it. And it's just happened. It's been happening they've been talking about it for about a year and a half. And now it's actually reality. And they're coming up with some kind of numbers. And it's going to hurt a lot of people. Just the fact that they'll never be able to go again. And because the tier system looks like it's going to be a nightmare. Anyway. I have more to say. Do you have a comment?
I have a question.
Yep.
Did they mention after these 500 permits, where are these 500 people going to sell to? And are those fish markets, how many fish markets are going to lose out from this access? Or is that not an issue?
I don't think it's an issue.
Or are there, like how Nantucket usually has a very high demand, Martha's Vineyard has high demand, the restaurants do. So I would imagine their fish wholesalers are very invested in being able to turn that around for their local restaurants as well as the Cape. But I do know the islands, that's huge. So have they factored all of that
Oh no,
into cutting off?
I can't say, but it's the state. Who knows? I don't know.
But do the fish markets have any idea what they just
I
are
have no
going
idea.
into?
I have no idea. They haven't discussed it.
And how they're going to balance the market and the buying across these 500
I
people
don't
across
know.
the whole
That's
coast?
not on DMS. That's not there. I'm not gonna speak with them. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Has there been any chatter about it?
Nope.
Anybody discuss it?
Nope.
Interesting. Thank you.
Nope. All I know is that right now the commercial bass are taking a hit pretty heavy because everybody's freaking out. I need my 600 pounds. It doesn't matter. You can get 1,000 pounds this year. You can get 5,000 pounds this year. The weight this year isn't gonna amount to anything because it's all between the control date 2022 and 2025. So it's a bit of a nightmare for some people. Other people are like, yes, windfall. I know in the past when the quota wasn't met, the markets were like, thank God, because after Labor Day, they don't want striped bass. They just don't want them. The market's not there primarily they get sold to tourists. And when the tourists are gone after Labor Day, the market's like, get rid of bass. We don't care. They want ground fish, they want cod, they want flounder, they want anything but striped bass. It's kind of a hassle for them, which is probably what led to the self-tagging. I'm just guessing on that. It's just a possible educated guess. Everybody says, get rid of the out-of-state permits. Really, they can't. it's written in the Massachusetts Constitution that non-residents are allowed free trade. So you're allowed to have a business in Massachusetts. Your business could be selling striped bass, could be running a charter boat, could be doing anything, you know, building windows, whatever. It could be anything. So they allow out-of-staters to get the amendment, get the endorsement. The Constitution can be amended, but nobody wants to do that. DMF will not do it. They've said flat out, we're not going. That's not for us. So they're not going to do it. Individuals may have to rally and say this is ridiculous because the DMF determines that 10% of the fishery, 10% of the endorsements go to out-of-staters, which is approximately 450 permits. That's a lot, you know. And they said this 10 years in a row, that those out-of-staters take about 10% of the catch. 10% is a good solid day, if not 2 solid days, more fishing for anybody who's involved, other than the out-of-staters. But that's not gonna. They're never gonna disappear. So there's a lot that's going on, and a lot of people are upset about it. And I'm going crazy trying to tell everybody. So I'm hoping that anybody who's listening here will spread the word that there's a lot going on. I tried to tell some other people to, hey, listen, zoom in tonight but I see they're not here. It's tough to keep repeating over and over and over again. That DMF doesn't care about your 4,000 people. It's kind of scary. It's like, they don't care. So anyway, any questions?
Yesterday was a good day for commercial, which
Yeah, sure.
today, same area.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, that's just fishing. They move. You know?
Heading
What are you gonna do?
north.
Yeah, well, it's fish. They move around. It's obvious. They're chasing the bait, whatever. But, you know, the guys who are fishing, they're going to find them. You know, they may get 5 a day, they may get 30 a day. Who knows? You know, and there's cheating going on like there always has been. But some people are doing it, some people are not. And I don't know. So that's what's going on with Striper. I can tell you that. And
My concern with just the allotted, you know, what is it, 3-year period, 4-year period, where they're looking for a certain amount of landings, is that the biomass set up in a certain location for multiple years in a row.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that there's going to be a trend on who secures these permits. You're going to be a certain region of our shoreline that are going to end up with all the permits based on where those fish were parked.
North Shore, Boston, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It just doesn't seem fair. I mean, because you got to look at just the economics of if you're running to, you know, South Shore, North Shore from the Cape during those years, it doesn't add up financially.
12 years ago, it was
Make it
off
worth
Chatham.
it. Right.
Yeah.
So if you,
Uh,
12 years ago, if they were looking at those landings, the Chatham guys would all be taking the permits. And,
Sure.
and this is a long
Well,
term.
that jig bite off of Chatham, boats were from everywhere. I saw boats California,
Right, I guess you're right.
California tags. I mean, they're coming to Rhode
Staying
Island.
at Nickerson State Park.
They're coming around the corner. I mean, like this, you know, they're coming from everywhere. That's where the bite was. And unfortunately, that's how it's been the last dozen years or so. There's been there's been solitary bites. So you go back 20 years, every area had fish.
Right.
Cape Cod Bay had, you know, the shoals had fish. P-Town fish, True had fish. Backside, you know, the Grillo was always loaded. The islands, every area had their own fishery. You go and you fish, you get your fish, and you'd find maybe 10 or 12 boats in a certain area, and everybody knew each other, everything was great. Well, now that the fish are really, they're reduced, the number is definitely reduced, and they're really, you know, restricted to like single areas, like last couple of years was Plymouth.
Right.
Good Lord, Plymouth was insane. A whale landed on a boat, like crazy, you know? The Chatham jig bite was a perfect example. Like there was fish nowhere else except off of Chatham. You know, any kind of numbers, and there's 200 boats out there. If you ever saw the aerial view of like the two groups of boats, there was one group over here. There's 100 and 100. It's like 200 boats. Crazy. It was nuts. Literally, fishing one day, I had no place to drop a jig on the down tide side of the boat. The boats were bumping into each other. I had to push the bow of the boat off of our boat, drop my jig down, and get a fish. It was insane. I'm like, really? It was literally insane. It was gangster fishing. It was crazy. But it's still kind of happening now, and these days it's I guess the bay is opening up quite a bit in different areas, and there's fish moving around, but people are spreading out a little bit. But I haven't been yet, so I don't really know. So, yes,
Well, and they force everybody to fish on the same day of the week.
2 days a week. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
it's not spread out.
And, you know, markets close at between 5 and 6 p.m. Reds might be open until 8. So you have to be off the water by 3 to get to the market by 4:30 so you can sell your fish and not be inconvenient to the market. Then you have 7 hours left of the day to fish, but you can't because there's no place to fish, no place to sell fish after 6 p.m. because So it used to be, I remember Old Harbor in Chatham. You would drive up there at 2 o'clock in the morning. The door was open. There was totes, ice,
Down,
slips, huh?
ice them down and leave.
You know, here's my 10 fish, here's my 15 fish. Boom, I put them in a tote, put your name on it, get a slip, get paid. Not anymore. I think it's about 4 years now. They said, no, the buyer has to be on premises when fish come to be sold. Even at Reds, 5-6 years ago. If you get there at 11:55, you were good. They have cameras, so if anyone, you know, for DMF, EPOs want to check or anything, they can see what time you're coming. But you go in, you tag your fish, make a slip, everything was great. Nope, can't do that anymore because, you know, it creates cheating.
To Kirsten's point, 500 permits statewide. Just the impact on these, you think it's hard to find a market that's open on a striped bass day now, you know, after hours.
Those don't,
It doesn't add up. There's not gonna be enough fishermen around to even justify keeping your doors open.
Atlantic Fish, they have a truck. And when the bite was good off of Monomoy, when the bite was good off of Chatham, they brought trucks up this way. And I remember one day pulling up like, oh my God, like 2,000 bass in the back of a truck. They had, you know, giant vats full, just mounds of fish, like, holy shit. I mean, just crazy amount of fish. Doesn't happen anymore. I think Atlantic now, I think they set up at the canal. So if you're fishing on the Cape and you're from off Cape and you're driving back, you know, home, you can stop at the canal and they have a truck till about 9 o'clock, which was great. But then it's still three hours. I think Atlantic they were setting up at Sasua at one point and they were there till midnight. But that was 1 year because there was a bite off of Barnstable in the fall, you know, in the late summer, late season. So it's just, it's not really a commercial fishery, even though it is a commercial fishery. It's a 17-day season, which is ridiculous, and people take advantage of it. People utilize it. People use it. There's pirates for sure, and DMF is once again scrambling to do something, and they have no idea what they're doing.
Well, have they entertained the real, you know, the real possibility that they just need to shut down the fishery for some?
No one wants to mention it. They're afraid to mention it, except me. It's like shut it down.
Yeah.
You know, whoa, that's, you know, what might be a possibility. I think Virginia takes the most bass per on the East Coast for the year, but I think Massachusetts is number 2. Take a lot of fish. You know, it's almost I think it's 650,000 pounds. I think it was. I forget, somewhere in there. That's a lot. It used to be 1 million. It used to be more. It used to be open. We take a lot of fish. Yeah, shut it down. Why not? Have you seen any schoolies? Anybody seen any schoolies in any of the ponds this spring at all?
No.
Any bass popping around Mill Pond or Town Cove or?
Shad.
Oh, shad, yeah, sure. Tons of shad. Yeah, they're great. I haven't seen I've only fished a few times, but I drive around the water all the time and I'm looking for a little bait spraying and, you know, circling. It's like February. It's like a 60-degree day in February. There's no bass at all. And people say, oh, there's small fish in Rhode Island. Well, they should be here too. There's and excuse me. I'm very passionate when it comes to striped bass. Sold my first one in 1981. Try and sell at least a few every year. And forget about just commercial. I've been catching fish from firms since I was, 10, whatever. I'm pretty old these days. It's sad to see that the fishery is in such a bad state. And a lot of it has to do with the Chesapeake. I feel that the Young of the Year index is being evaluated completely incorrectly because they're still going back to the areas that they've been historically been checking for since they've been doing it, 60, 70 years, I'm not really sure. They stay in the same places, the same tributaries, the same sandbars, the same little places where they've always caught the immature bass to see how the spawn is for the year, and they're not getting anything. Now, are they not getting anything because there's nothing there, or maybe the Young of the Year is someplace else? They do the Potomac, they do the Delaware Bay, they do Merrimack, the Hudson, but primarily it's the Chesapeake. And the Chesapeake is basically poison right now. Between the water quality and the influx of blue catfish, which are basically freshwater fish, but now they're living in salt water, really. Blue cats, I guess some towns around the Chesapeake have bounties on blue cats. Catch them, bring them in. They sell them. There's a huge market for them. They cut them open, and in March and April, they are full to the brim with striped bass fry. It's like basically all they're eating is little small bass.
Those were introduced?
No, what happened was there was an impoundment one of the headwaters is a freshwater impoundment, and there was a huge flood, and there was a spillover, and a ton of blue cats got into the Chesapeake. It is, I can get more info on that, but I talked to one of the guys with the AFMFC, and this guy's in Virginia. He's like, oh yeah, he goes, they were naturally introduced because of overflow, because of a natural overflow, big flood. And they have really taken over. And they're getting like 50 pounds in the Chesapeake. So now the charter boats in the Chesapeake, they can't target stripers anymore because they can't take anything, because they can only take small fish, because they have the same slots, But they're targeting blue cats because they can take 50 a day from 20 to 50 pounds. I mean, like, they want to catch fish, they want to bring them home. So now can you believe that? So now the charter boats are out targeting blue catfish.
Wow.
Crazy. So it's bad. But anyway, let's.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, I mean, there's more. There's more coming for sure. I'm on a ASMFC a striped bass advisory panel also, and we're going to meet. There's a summer meeting coming up, so I can do some updates on that too.
Do they ever discuss the Atlantic shoreline coming together with multiple states and sitting down to try to come up with a common solution so that they can have consistent regulation throughout?
That happened with the whole slot thing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's from South Carolina to Maine. That's the committee that I'm on, ASMSC,
Okay.
and it's a pretty significant. I mean,
So this isn't just Massachusetts specific?
no. Well, that's DMF.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about now. Is the DMF what they're doing for the state, but the ASMFC. There's just two representatives from. There's one from commercial, one from recreational. And then some states also have science involved. So I think there is probably 35 members on that committee. And we meet via Zoom. And it's pretty cool, actually. And you can, if you want to see the Zoom, the meetings afterwards, they're open to the public. But these guys are, I'm like embarrassed to be on the panel because I mean, there's some really heavy hitters who are talking about striped bass. That's pretty cool. I was invited. I'm glad to be on it, and I don't know. I have stuff to offer every now and then, but it's pretty impressive what these guys know, and they know a lot. And when the slot limit came to the 28 to 31 slot limit, we worked on that quite a bit, and that is now coast-wide. So yeah,
That's progress.
yeah, it's pretty huge. Yeah, that was pretty huge. And so this is now DMF is bouncing off of that. It's rather involved, and I can do some homework. And if you want a little more update as far as how the two organizations work, I can do that. As they bounce off each other, it's pretty cool. So I'd be more than happy to do it for you. So, all right, any questions? No. Any disgust? No. Okay. Come on down. How you doing, Derek?
Good, how you doing?
Good. All right. Item number 8, Natural Resources Harbor Master Report, Nate Sears.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I'll go kind of chronologically in order here. On May 29th, we closed Nauset Beach South to oversand vehicles due to unfledged piping plover chicks. That's pretty standard. Historically, we close right at the beginning of June, end of May. That closure will last, generally speaking, until the third week in July, first week of August. So if anybody's asking for updates and looking at the website, wondering why there hasn't been any updates, it's really hard for us to forecast. or give a perspective when we think when the beach will open, we can just look at historical data and, you know, fledge rates, which are, you know, with the present chicks on the beach at the moment. As time presses on and we get a little further into July, there's much less likelihood of renests. Renests are what start the clock over, and we should have a better idea of, you know, what we're looking at for reopening. Most likely we'll open with a HCP, which is the flexibility the state allows us. They give us a special permit to has minimization measures so that the chicks aren't harmed. One of those being that there's certain windows that you can get out onto the beach, 3 windows of access and egress during the day, and one of the minimization measures is that somebody over the age of 16 has to walk in front of your vehicle. We updated our HCP permit over the winter with an amendment that says if the chicks aren't within a certain distance of the corridor at the time of access or egress, that we can waive the walking requirement and allow normal traffic to occur during that time.
Is that a daily update?
No, that's at the time of that access window. If we have monitors in place and we can confirm that all the chicks are clear of the corridor, then we won't require people to walk in front of the vehicles. That being said, you'll still have to have someone with you because we can't guarantee that that's going to happen every time. So you have to have someone that's willing, that's over 16 that can walk, or we can't let you on the beach.
Somebody have to walk the whole beach, like in front of your car?
No. So, you know, there's
certain sections,
There's a
right?
certain section where, you know, it's basically the brood range where that, you know, they're typically foraging, and when they're young and they can't fly, they only range so far on the beach. So once you identify that range, we put monitors on them. We stay with them. So, and then wherever they're typically crossing the oversand vehicle corridor, we'll station, you know, a barricade at the beginning of that, a barricade at the end. But generally speaking, it's no more than a football field long.
Okay.
And then once you get through it, you're wide open like you would normally be out on the beach. And that historically lasts anywhere from 1 or 2 days to as long as 10 days before we can get opened up completely without any of that, you know, additional minimization measures.
Question about turns?
Yeah.
So renesting, are they typically, they have 2 broods, or they renest because they of mortality?
Loss.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, it's not, what would happen this time was that it wasn't from overwash, it was from being sanded in. So their clutch actually gets sanded in, buried in sand from windblown, you know, transported sand.
Lord.
And then they head on out and decide to start over. That happened to multiple nests this year.
And then, are they, I believe the piping plovers were endangered species, is that right?
They're a rare species.
No, I say they've been taken off the endangered list.
Right, no longer
Are they
endangered,
rare or threatened, or?
threatened, yeah.
Okay, so does that mean that is a possibility that enforcement might be more lax in the future? Not from the town, but I mean. in
Sure,
general.
yeah, and so there's an argument here, and I'm a proponent of the argument that what has changed is that we have less habitat, okay? So that they require very specific habitat, which is these, you know, barrier beaches and coastal, you know, systems that provide just that perfect suitable habitat for their nesting. They've made a tremendous recovery. And what happens when you have a recovery of a population, but the same amount of habitat, is that, and in generally in a healthy carrying capacity, you'd have a certain amount of area for the range of that pair of chicks, or sorry, that pair of adults to court and lay their eggs without being harassed by other adults. What's happening now is, with the recovery of the population, they're basically living in each other's closets and each other's houses and constantly bickering with each other while they're trying to, you know, guard their eggs. Now they're on top of each other. So there is an argument that we're approaching carrying capacity with, you know, and maybe that the expectations for the level of the population may be beyond what's reasonable for what's left of habitat.
So that sounds almost worse than an endangered species.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and it's not necessarily that there's lack of plovers, it's lack of habitat. So I think that has to go into the formula. Nauset Beach is absolutely pristine habitat, which we have exorbitant amount of plovers comparatively. But like one of the most productive locations in Massachusetts is Revere Beach, right? Which is just like one of the most chaotic beaches
Yeah,
in Massachusetts.
sure.
Yeah, so, they're also very resilient.
We're losing habitat, but at the same time, with washovers, the barrier beach moves west. So, I mean, are we really losing that much?
You're talking about a very specific location, like a barrier beach, which has the ability to migrate west and roll over and
Sure.
continue to
Right,
provide that
right,
type
right.
of habitat. But then you gotta look at the eastern seaboard and understand that, like, major stretches of the seaboard have been fortified with
I was thinking local.
seawalls
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
type of stuff, so all that,
I was
dynamic
thinking just
sand
local.
migration has gone away.
Yep, okay.
June 12th, that was a productive day in Orleans. We lifted the PSP red tide closure on Nauset Estuary, as well as opened up the north Residence Beach for oversand vehicles. And that's been open with about a third of a mile, and we can fit about 120 to 150 vehicles comfortably. We will be extending that third of a mile even a little bit more in the next couple days because of hatching of shorebirds and them relocating and adjusting their range north, which is what we would expect out of them in the Priscilla Wash.
They like us.
Yeah, so we're, the timing is good because here we are for the July weekend where I'm guessing that we're gonna be possibly staging vehicles off-site to meet the demand of people that wanna get onto the beach. Dinophysis in salt pond. Dinophysis is a harmful algal bloom, different than PSP. It results in diuretic shellfish poisoning. They were looking at a pretty significant bloom of that in cell counts over the last 3-4 weeks, and I just got notified from DMF that it's actually going it's going in the opposite direction now, and there seems to be no reason for concern in Town Cove, but also the numbers in Salt Pond, which are usually the indicator of, the higher levels in that water body, in Nauset Estuary, are trending in the opposite direction. So that's good news, because it was concerning that, and it's happened before, where we lift the red tide restrictions, and then DSP comes in and closes us for a whole different reason. So water's looking pretty good at the moment, so go cohogging if you have the time.
Where's the testing available for the DSP? I mean, is it, I think, was the red tide goes to California or something?
They're doing DSP in-house, I believe.
Okay, oh, good.
Yep. And then Rock Harbor update. We're looking at substantial completion. The one critical path item that just remains out there is that we need to get water. We have some water, but the water that they plumbed in, we rejected and did not accept the specifications that they used for the fittings on the plumbing. I think it's gonna lead to long-term issues for us. So, we're having them pull that out and use, black poly pipe instead of PVC, because the PVC is just, it's too rigid for that environment. And with the water hammer that we experienced down there and also the ice conditions, there's just to be a constant maintenance
Oh, yeah, sure.
nightmare. So I'm trying to be patient. Obviously, we've been patient enough, and this is one of those things where I'm not just gonna settle just to get it done and have them move on. But overall, we're getting a very positive response down at Rock Harbor. Obviously, we're juggling with the demand, with the Captain Cass's opening in the parking. But so far, so good. And we're looking at a very busy day there this coming Thursday with the fireworks. And we're ready for it. I think we finally got through this major headache of a project.
Is there going to be, is there talk about a, opening, like an opening date, what was it, like a cell?
Yeah, we haven't put anything on the calendar yet. It might actually be because of the funding was received from the Seaport Economic Council in the state. My recommendation today was that for the next round of awards for projects that put in for that grant, then we might have the award ceremony for the towns awarded for this next round at Rock Harbor. So that we can have, the lieutenant governor come down, possibly even the governor, to award that next round, but also see what Seaport money can produce. But like, that would probably be August, September.
Okay, just curious.
That's all I got.
Come down and walk around.
Yeah, oh, looks great. I love the cleat that's like, it'll handle like a nuclear submarine. Things like huge, it's awesome.
You did a hell of a job.
Oh, looks great. Yeah, I like
Good
it.
job. Took up a few years of your life that you'll never get back, but
We're not there yet, but I'm thrilled with it.
I think it looks fantastic.
not great.
Ask about the telephone pole on the corner.
I can't hear you.
The pole on the corner, the utility pole.
Yeah.
The pole in the road, what happened with that?
Yeah, well, you're talking about as you're leaving, going back into town, making that corner. I mean, that was just that pesky pole that to begin with. We're trying to relocate that pole from across the street. It started off with the osprey nest, and then it turned into private property, abutters, and conflicts with how we'd locate the pole in the intersections, to the point where we found the location that the pole had to go, put the pole there, and then we restriped and widened the road so that the pole wouldn't be interfering with the intersection in that turn. It's better than it was. It's not ideal, but,
Pretty bad. Like,
I gotta say, on my bike, it's dicey trying to take that right
Yeah.
turn, even on my bike. I'm like, it's awkward.
I feel ya.
It doesn't feel safe. Especially with all the cracks from all the people that.
well, there's only one crack, and that was from the paving crew.
Oh, okay.
They'll be repairing that, but no one else has hit it yet. It definitely controls and calms traffic because you got your eyes on that pole.
yeah.
But it meets code, and at this point, I'm looking across the street at our new harbor rather than
Yeah, no, it looks great.
the pole from hell. So
Hey, Dave,
Unmute.
no volume.
Tell them to unmute.
Dave, unmute.
I missed public comment, my fault, and I was wondering if before you end the meeting, I might just have a moment to speak real quick.
Absolutely. Nate's done. You want to speak right now? Hey, John, you all set?
Okay, yep, very quickly, looking at the way that Eastham and Orleans each notify their commercial fishermen about PSP, et cetera, shellfish closures. I like the way that Eastham sends an email and includes the DMF letter, which fully describes the incident causing the change and gives some background. And I'm wondering if you might in future put it on your agenda to consider proposing that Orleans do likewise.
Yes, not a problem. Why don't you reach out to me, email, or we can meet up and discuss and give me some specifics.
Okay, great.
Right, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. How's everything going, all right?
Oh, yeah, I'm nice and cool up here in the woods so far, but
Damn
how
you.
long it'll hold, I don't know.
Great, sounds great. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.
One thing, white sharks?
yeah. Put it this way, I took my kid's surfboards and stuffed them up in the rafters in the barn. He's done for a little while.
Yikes.
Yeah, he got surfboards for his birthday, and I'm already putting them away. So, what does that tell you? Everyone do what you're gonna do, but
Everyone's like, they're in the bay. Yeah, they're in the bay. You know?
yeah, they're robbing fish in the bay. There's definitely a lot of
Yeah, lots been going on for
those.
you.
There's a lot of them zipping around over by the Target ship. You see that video that went off Crow's pasture.
Oh, yeah.
But we're finding predated seals. We found more than one over the last week, washed up on Nauset. So, I mean, we're going into that time of year. You start getting into mid-July. And
It's an exciting time of year.
yeah. Yeah, it's real.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to understate that, that it's crucial that people be safe and understand that
Oh, yeah.
how real a situation it is, but people have to take their own responsibility for how they recreate in our water.
All right, thanks. Any questions?
I have one for you. Maybe it isn't part of your direction, but why haven't the Coast Guard come in and put the markers back? Is it because of monetary finances that they don't?
That's the latest I heard, bud. But I mean, you know, the number 3 can's one thing, but, you know, not marking the ship
Not marking the ship is
Is it-
dangerous.
It's really
is incredibly dangerous. And they know where both those markers are over in Dennis. They know where they are. But you can call the Coast Guard tomorrow, I bet, and you tell them that the situation, and they'll, from what I understand, will act like this is the first time they've heard of it. And they'll relay that information over to who it may concern.
And it'll be broadcast on the radio for days.
Yep, I know people that have called this in recently.
I mean, you look out on Skakit Brewster shoreline and there's a channel marker out there. Somebody's gonna,
Hey, target ship.
oh, why can't they put floating markers around the ship? You know,
Yeah, my fish finder jumped up pretty quick the other day over in that neck of the woods.
when you have a minus tide and you
Uh,
look out
Little picket fence, oh yeah.
and you can see the ship,
Yeah.
you know it's
Yep.
navigation.
Nothing to,
hazard.
it's not actually anything to joke about. It's a real hazard right now. It's not marked.
All right, thank you. Item number 9, celebrate our waters. Phil, would you like to talk about a little bit about that?
All right.
Thank you.
We did it again this year, and it was a lot of the same that we had last year, but it was better. We had a table display with local shells, some invasives, poster with pests and examples of shells that have been crunched by green crabs or gotten to by boring sponges. A couple of handouts about safe shellfish. We also had the display, which Craig put together, that had clam rakes, including a bull rake this year, harvester tag, a couple of different kinds of oyster bags, that kind of thing. John Quigley again lent us a lobster trap, so we had a whole display of that. Nate lent us the poster, the wallboard thing that the town has now, that it's a big sign that says aquaculture going on here, to try to educate people about some of that. I will say the hit again was the tank with the quahogs and the bucket that Craig brought that had some green crabs and an eel. It was a bit tricky pulling all this together. We were going to have a little fish tank, for example, and I was bringing it from where it's stored in Brewster, and a turkey ran out in front of me, and I slammed on the brakes, and the fish tank went like this in the back of my truck and broke. And so I had to notify him at the last minute, I don't have the fish tank. So he brought a bucket. We got quahogs of all sizes and had the little kid implements. And I want to give some credit to John Dugan and the Orleans Pond Coalition people, because they really advertised, and we had a lot of people. And not all the kids were what we think of as little kids. I mean, they were like grandparent age kids that were digging for the quahogs.
Trying to catch the eel.
And I was going to say, Craig got especially the boys going by saying, who can catch it? Of course, the eel was, you know what eels are like when they're totally lively and they couldn't catch it, and people were afraid they were going to get, I don't know, bit or something. But by the end, the poor eel was so worn out that Craig said he's going to take it and use it for bait, and that's probably it. But I think people had a blast, and we had a lot of people come. I will say with some of the education, oh, and I want to add that Kirsten was sitting there. She had a chair with an umbrella, and we were also shading our bucket and our tank, but she was great. She doesn't know I'm going to say this, but great about encouraging the kids. Okay, when you have the little shovel and it hits something, that's the quahog, and just helping them learn to do it. We had a couple of gauges, so some people were trying to measure and learn how to measure, so that was the educational part. I literally had 10 different people pick up a big surf clam shell that was on the table and say, wow, I've never seen a quahog this big. So there was some education about some of that, but it was fun. It was worth doing. I think our tanks were the hit in terms of some of the activities. It was all family fun stuff and kid-oriented stuff, and there were other good displays, but I think it was really the hit, and I would not be surprised if they ask us to come back again. So I hope people are willing to think about participating in another year, because I think they will definitely ask us, and it was good. We also had some information about the committee, the charge, and a copy of last year's annual report. A few people picked that up, because everybody else was, except for Marine and Freshwater Quality Committee was there with a little screen about herring, but everybody else was a nonprofit. So people were saying, well, who are you people, and like that, and so we were trying to talk about that. So it was good, all in all. Thank you.
Thank you. It was definitely fun. The eel was fun. It was really a blast. Had like seven. Huh? Yeah. Had like 7 green crabs and an eel on a 5-gallon bucket. I'm like, now try and catch the eel, but don't forget, crabs might bite you. These kids are like, let me at it. They're like, yeah, I got it. It was really hilarious. It was fun. Thank you. It was a good time.
I was gonna say, between now and then, if someone comes across a fish tank, grab it, and we can store it at DPW, because you might not want to grab it because you have nowhere to keep it, but
And thank you for
Might-
storing the equipment that we
come
need.
along one between now and then, grab it.
Where is that sign gonna be hung? I know it said Rock Harbor, but,
Skate it and Rock Harbor. I have one for each location.
okay.
Yeah.
That was originally from me. That was my brainchild.
Yeah?
And I suggested it to Nicole. This was way before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And Nicole bumped it to Abby, and Abby made it possible. So we've been working on this project for a million years.
Excellent.
Trying to get that communication.
Do you have one? Do they have them up in Eastham yet?
They haven't, no,
Not-
the hanging hardware, I guess, is like coming.
Yeah.
It sounds like all the towns have one, but none of them are mounted.
Well, at the time, she asked all the individual harbor masters or shellfish constables, and some said yes, some said no. There's been a lot of turnover. So now there's a lot of people who want to say yes, who were originally a no. So there's gonna be demand for more of these signs, because they say where it is on the bottom. Like the one for Rock Harbor says Rock Harbor on the bottom. And, so there's a lot of interest.
They're really great. They came out really nice.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions? No. All right. Item number 10. Bill Amru and John Quigley are leaving us. This would have been their last meeting. Bill couldn't make it. John couldn't make it. I just want to say thank you to both of them for doing a great job for the committee. Bill was chair for at least 1 year, if not 2. They'll be missed. Hopefully, we can get some members who will be just as qualified as they are, and will bring as much to the committee as they did. Bill sent me a letter that he asked if I would read to the committee. All right. Dear Craig, would you please read this for me at the meeting? Thank you. B.A. Dear committee, I am sorry I will not be on Cape for the June meeting for the Shellfish and Waterways Advisory Meeting. Please be assured the future of our town's marine resources and access to them remain a top priority for me. I believe their future rests in your capable and dedicated hands. Thank you for your support these many years. It has been an honor and privilege to have served with you and so many others. Look for me from time to time in the audience. While not around as much as before, I will visit from time to time. Sincerely and respectfully, and with all the best for the future of Orleans water and sea life, Bill Amaro. Very nice. And he was upset he couldn't make it. He wanted to be here, so that's it. And like I said,
Bill.
huh?
Thank you, Bill and
Yeah.
John.
Yes, they've been great. And I'll reach out to John and see if he can do something about the fertilizer update and send me an email I can send out to y'all to at least have his comments about the bylaws. So, all right?
Would you mind giving me a quick update on what you guys talked about?
Sure, no problem. Approve my minutes. I mean, as far as
Yep, the fertilizer.
Yep. As far as the fertilizer. Jesus. So the town has bylaws on the books as far as fertilizer use and overuse and penalties and fines. Nothing ever happens. Nobody talks about it. No one's ever been fined as far as I know, and is like they basically don't even exist. But John brought it to our attention, I think 3 years ago. It's been a while.
More than that.
It's been a while, yeah. And he brought it up to the selectmen, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's work on that." And basically, nothing happened. He sent the letter to the select board. I keep saying selectmen. Sorry. He sent a letter to the select board requesting some kind. He was trying to find the letter. He's going to read it for us tonight. So I haven't seen the letter in 4 years, but he sent it to the select board, and they said, "Oh yeah, we need to work on this," and basically nothing happened. So we're just trying to figure out, hey, will something happen, because this is an issue. It's an issue for our town. It's an issue for the Cape. It's an issue for basically everywhere, and we're kind of concerned about it. Other towns have created. I don't want to speak out of class. Nate, could you help me with that as far as what the other, like Nantucket and other?
Well, I mean, there was, we went as far as putting a home rule petition in.
Right.
That was the next step, to try to, put into, have our own regulations that are more stringent than the state of Massachusetts, so that our bylaw would have teeth. Right now,
Like a shellfishing.
right now, it's almost more of a guidelines of what we would expect out of folks. And we were looking for, more of a black and white ban, fertilizer in the town of Orleans, and the use of fertilizer.
With some exceptions, like organic was.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But there was
Well,
some.
even, I think John's letter is no fertilizer or pesticides within 150 feet of wetlands or waterways.
Okay.
So you're banning both.
But the home rule petition, as of yet, hasn't got anywhere. So I think we're revisiting the fact that, we have this bylaw in place, but it's not enforced, and it doesn't really have any teeth.
Okay, I didn't realize there was an actual bylaw. I thought that was still being debated. Whatnot. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Nate. So number 11, agenda item number 11, meeting schedule. I apologize for this debacle of emails, and I'm just like, I screwed up.
Still June.
We made it. Yes. So we had gone, so forever we were the second Tuesday of the month, and the times had changed, but the last was I think it was 6:30 on the second Tuesday. We agreed to move it because our member Bill Amaru couldn't make it on the second Tuesday. We changed it to I believe it was the third Tuesday. Third Tuesday at 6:45, correct? What the hell was it? No, it was
This is where the problem lies. I'd like to make a recommendation, we get back on the second Tuesday
so
schedule.
I'm asking, can we want to go back to that? Okay, so I believe currently, the second Tuesday, 6:15 is available. But I can find out and see if we can get any later. I'm really bad at 6 o'clock. I'm still working at 6 o'clock. I have a hard time with that. But did you not get the meeting time for 6 o'clock?
I might have just not noticed it.
Okay.
I was supposed to be here tonight. I thought it was 6:45. Sorry, I'm late.
No, I'm sorry. I was gonna call everybody to make sure they got the 6 o'clock start. That's on me, sorry. So, do we want to take a vote for a second Tuesday at whatever, after 6 PM, post 6 PM, somewhere around there? Okay. You with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so no vote needed. So I'll go to the town, I'll go to, talk to Bethany. and
Well, how
say-
about this, though?
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, and we get back on track,
Yeah.
there's no reason to meet in 2 weeks.
Yes, that was my next question.
Push it till we'll get back on track August.
That's fine, sure. My next comment was gonna be, do we have anything to come up
Because
and,
literally, if we're gonna meet a week ahead to discuss agenda, that would be us setting a meeting for next Wednesday to talk about our agenda for the following week.
right, no, yeah, no, I know, okay, right, so, okay. And then, I've been asking you for the agenda, do you wanna come to the agenda meetings? Okay, okay. And Bob, you mentioned, you're interested also, okay.
Can you get more bodies to make a committee?
To get this committee?
Yeah.
That's the idea. What?
Since you just lost two, can you get?
Yeah, well, we were one person down, we only had 8 instead of 9, so now we're 3 people down, so, yep. That's our push, so, getting to that. So, second Tuesday, minimum 6 PM, no later than 6:45, is that right? That sound about right? And then we usually, I've been trying to get us out of here in an hour, hour and a half, sometimes we go 2 and a quarter. So,
It's one thing, it's 6:45 in the dead of winter, it seems like 8:30 at night, you know what I mean? That's the only problem I have with it. in the
yeah, but
winter
6
time.
PM in July
Summer.
seems like
Right, I'm with you.
6 AM.
Everyone was getting home and go, we're going back
Yeah.
out.
What's 6:30 look like?
I'll find out. I'll see what time. I think media has to be here, and they're definitely here. There's a meeting previous to ours that gets out. I believe at 6. Didn't happen today, but I'll find out. I need to talk to town clerk. They'll help me out. So I'll get back to you. So I believe they said the second Tuesday was available at 6:15. So we'll see if we can convene on that. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
That's good.
All right, excellent. That is all I have, except, yeah, sorry, Phil.
In the past, I don't know if it's the same now, but the media people like to be able to leave by 8, so we should just figure that.
That's fine, thank you. That's all I have except for adjourn. Oh, you know what, I didn't, on this agenda, I didn't include, future agenda items. Anybody have any concern about future agenda items? No? Excellent, okay, in that case, adjourn?
You have to make a motion.
Motion?
So moved.
Scott?
Second.
Second? Great.
All in favor?
All in favor? You doing my job? Thank
Yes.
you.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming.
Start.